Yeah.
Okay, got it. Testing. You already started?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, I'm going to start by giving all praise, honors, and glories to
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakakadash.
double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone for teaching 100% truth. Wa Barakatham to the 144,000, as well as the rest of the elect. May peace and blessings be unto your household. This is Jimmy and Dallas Younger Bros. And in today's class, we're just gonna get into, pretty much we are being prepared to let this place go, right? Through the things that Yahweh Bashem Shai is putting each individual brother through, allowing Satan to interfere with our lives even more, being tested even more, having to be, even patient with brothers even more. We're being tested on all levels of that, and it begins to make you hate this place even more, right? Because you don't want to love it here. Because if you love being here in Babylon the Great, then you're never gonna want to leave, right? So this is part of the Lord preparing us is by allowing Satan to attack us, deal with the shit that we got to deal with. So when the time comes, we'll be undoubtedly ready to let it go because we was tired of the shit anyways, you know. But we can go ahead and get that Job 5.
I got you. This is Job chapter 5, verse 17 in the AMP. It says, "Behold, how happy and fortunate is the man whom the Most High Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua reproves. So do not despise or reject the discipline of the Almighty, subjecting you to the trial and suffering."
Exactly. So subjecting us to the trials and suffering that we have to go through that Yahweh Hashem Shai sees fit for each of our walks, man. Right? Yes, it may seem tough. Yes, it could be, hard on you, but Lord saw it fit for you to go through because one, He already gave you the strength to be able to endure that, and two, it's going to build you up and make you ready ultimately for His coming.
Yep.
Right? So in other words, like I said, despise and reject, and also don't reject, right, the discipline of Yahweh Hashem Shai, because if you reject it, then you're basically shooting your own self in the foot. What Romans 8:28 says, man, all things work good for those that love Him. Man, all things that means good as well as the bad that you go through. Literally every aspect of your walk is the Lord, preparing you for ultimately His coming. And that's something that only the elect is going to really have, man. Like you said, how in the beginning, can you read the beginning part again? Because they're fortunate, I think.
Yeah, Job 5 and 17 in AMP. Top it says, "Behold, how happy and fortunate is the man who the Most High Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua the power reproves."
Exactly. So it says how happy and fortunate, right? And the word fortunate goes into pretty much like lucky, or really could just say blessed. Yeah, blessed ultimately that that you're being reproved by Yahweh Hashem Shai. He's seeing it fit, like, you know what, I'm gonna put you through this because I care about you. Right? And on the outside looking in, it may seem pretty tough. Of course it doesn't feel good, but we understand the bigger picture of what the Lord is doing for us ultimately, which is preparing us to ultimately get out here because majority of these people, they're not being prepared for this. If anything, the Lord allowed them to get more of what they want. So it looked like the wicked just sitting here prospering, getting what they want, winning. That's what it looks like. But that Psalm of Asaph and Psalm 73, right? We went into that chamber, roughly paraphrased. Then we understood the end of the wicked, right? They don't know their end. Their end is nothing but hell and destruction, right? But our end, Lord willing, is salvation, being saved, being changed, ultimately, being healed, getting out of here, which is something that every brother, actual brother, is looking forward to, right? And
You might want to get that word fortunate real quick.
yeah, you get.
This is the word fortunate in the etymology online, and it was one of the parts that's pointed out, but I refuse. It says having good fortune, bringing good fortune, but what stuck out to me was it says to make prosperous. It see, because by the Lord correcting us and us taking heed unto it, that's going to make our way prosperous. Because now what is it doing? It's allowing us to be hid from his wrath. You see, because when you read the scriptures, when we rebelled against the Lord, his wrath was what rested upon us. But when we didn't rebel against the Lord, we submitted, you know, in servitude, what? The Lord's wrath was away from us. You know, you read about that in the Apostle. You know, the fear of the Lord turneth away wrath, and where it's present, it turneth away sin. You see, so it's fortunate for the Lord Most High to correct us through his Son and us to take heed unto it.
You know, and Bible try just to land back on that because sin is the transgression of the law.
Yep.
All right, and the transgression means to disdain. You know, but I was going to pull that. This is Luke chapter 12 verse 32. It says, "Fear not, little flock. You know, for it is your Father's good pleasure. It's how about it's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." Okay, and the reason why I pulled that was because being in this world, it breeds fear. All right, but how about just like he has chosen the wicked to go through straight things, but they're gonna get, you know, all the hell that comes with it. For the righteous, they're gonna get, you know, the kingdom for all their labors. Okay, but you got it.
Yeah, because basically what you're making mention of how the wicked shall suffer straight things, but they're not going to see the wise. The righteous, they suffer straight things, but they have the wise. Ultimately, we have hope. So we're not suffering really for no reason. 1 Corinthians 15 and the last verse, I think, like 58, right? So we're not really suffering for no reason as long as we stay, though. But as far as everybody else, they're just suffering just to suffer, just to go through it because what they be going off and Lord, like, you know, I'm still giving you consolation, right? You might get a flat tire, but you got the big booty chick you wanted, but she a demon though. It's like, you know, you still, you know, that's just how it is. Lord is still kind of balance it out. Lord allow the, you know, the wicked, aka, you know, the 2/3 get their little portion here that they wanted so bad. But for us, well, the hopeful elect, you know, it's not so, man. Right? As times as we get closer and closer to the end, you know, things are getting worse. Lord, we see that the Lord is allowing Satan to mess with us even more and more and more. You know, brothers might be making even bigger mistakes or whatever. And really, it really just shows like what is going to be your reaction to making those mistakes, because it's going to come. You're going to fall, right? What does the scripture say? The just man falls 7 times. Yeah, but he rises up again. So it's really as long as you get back up, as long as you really didn't take the MOTB, you got a fighting chance. No matter what happened, really. But that's for, you know, your walk, man. How the Lord got it set for your walk. You know, we don't know what the Lord got planned for us. It could be some shit we never thought of, and you got to be willing to accept that with open arms, understanding that it's for your betterment, though. It's like, okay, Lord wants to work on this part of your mind, right, to build you up in this way, right? And you know, we're not gonna be happy about it, but you got to accept it if you want it is. But you got something already out.
Yeah, did y'all get Proverbs 3 already?
Oh, that's the next one. But
no, go ahead.
No. I'm not gonna read it. Like you got,
I do got one. You gonna bring it up?
Now you got.
Bring it out,
man.
I initially scratched it out.
No, actually, you scratched it out.
Okay.
This
is Proverbs 3 and 11. Yeah, and it reads, "My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, Yahweh, neither be weary of his correction." Verse 12, "For whom the Lord Yahweh loveth, he corrected, even as a father the son in whom he delighted." Mm-hmm. And you know, pretty much as you going through speaking about, I think about Yahweh when he was foretelling his death, burial, resurrection to Peter, and that prophesying to Peter that he was going to deny him.
Bro, I'm holding that. That's spirit. That's what I'm holding.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm holding. Can I get it?
Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
I'll get surgery. I'll get in and get out. Matthew 26 and 34. That's the spirit, bro.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm gonna read 34 and I'm gonna jump down to 75. It says, Yahweh said unto him, talking to Peter, it says, "Verily I say unto thee that this night before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me thrice." Right? So the Lord already knew that he was going to do it. You know, and when you go into the count, Peter was like in denial. You know what I'm saying? Like, no way. And that's how we feel. Because you made that statement about you're going to make mistakes. verse 75, Matthew 26, verse 75, it says, and Peter is after he did it. It says, and Peter remembered the words of Yahushua, which said unto him, before the cock crowed, thou shalt deny me thrice. And he went out and he wept bitterly. Right? So Peter was hurt. You know what I mean? Peter was, imagine how you would feel after that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but guess what? He went on
right.
to forward the gospel. He girded up his loins and he did the work that Yahweh Shai commanded him to do.
Yeah, and that was the point, because Peter was the chief cornerstone, that the house of the church is built on. So and I like the way Yahweh Shai, when he used examples of his great men to show even the lowly that hey, they fail just as well as you're gonna fall. Yep. And it's just no matter how great or how low you are, this is for the whole body.
And
but go ahead.
You done?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, and just pretty much add on, man, because it's just gotta understand, man. Like in this truth, man, you're gonna have some very, very dark moments in the truth. More so now as things get worse, right? That's why you gotta have Sirach 14. I think it's 14:2, right? Blessed is a man who conscious in that matter. We just grab that real quick. Yeah, we just grab that real quick. I don't want to do it. That's the picture right there.
I got you. This is Sirach, also known as Ecclesiastes, chapter 14 and verse 2. It says, blessed is he whose conscience hath not condemned him, and who is not fallen from his hope in the Lord.
Yep. So blessed is he who conscience has not condemned them now and fallen from the hope in the Lord. Because when you mess up, guess what? Satan's gonna really be in your head now. Your conscience all just, hey man, you done did this, you done fucked up. I don't know. Damn, and it's about the 50th time you did this, huh? Right? And just rub it in your face. Satan ultimately being Satan, right? But it said, blessed from conscience has not condemned them and fallen from the hope in the Lord. As long as you don't fall from that hope, right? It really just goes until you have to understand the bigger picture. Because if you don't understand the bigger picture, then you're going to give up, right? What you got to remember, what is Yahweh Shai coming to do, right? Other than obviously destroy. He's coming to heal as well, right? And we got to be messed up to be healed, right? So we're going to deal with certain problems, certain thorns that we all got. Things that Lord add on to you, whatever it may be. That's just the condition of the battle that you have to deal with, And because it really made me think about a beloved brother had a vision about this. Basically, angel told him about him falling, and the angel said to him, basically, well, that's what it represented in his dream. But what the angel said to him was that you was gonna fall harder than that. You're gonna fall harder than that. He just kept saying you're gonna keep falling harder. But as long as you get up, you're good. I was like, damn. That was like some years ago when brother had that dream. I was like, dang. So it's like, you mean something we finna fall harder than before? And then it's gonna get worse, but all you gotta do is just get up. Right? That's the goal. That's the main thing. You just gotta get up from it and just keep going and keep believing, right? And keep hoping. Because if you didn't take the MOTB, man, scripture says, man, the Lord arm is not sure that it cannot save. Right? So if you didn't take the MOTB, you still gotta fight a chance, really, no matter what. As long as you praying, fasting, doing what you're doing, doing what you need to do to the best of your ability, and the Lord will work out the rest. But you done with that Proverbs, right?
I got a precept for you. I need to follow.
Go ahead.
Firepower.
I know, right?
I do the point.
I couple verses.
I do the point real quick. It's like one verse.
Then you got your point.
This
Then
is
we'll go to Hebrews 12.
2 Ezra chapter 9. I'm gonna get straight to the point. Verse 22. It says, "Let the multitude perish that were born in vain." Yes, I said, yeah. Let them perish then, which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept, and my plant, for which great labor have I made it perfect. Going to your point, understanding the big picture, because essentially the Lord, what he's doing is it's a purging process. He don't liken us until these metals, these precious metals, when they get put under fire, what happens to them? They don't get dissolved. They don't be turned into a smoke. They essentially get more to a purified state. And the scriptures say the path of the judge is at the shine of light, they shine more and more until the perfect day. So the closer we get to that day, the closer Lord is purging more of the stuff out. You see, purging the impurities out, and that's what we want. And it hurt. It hurt. The stuff you're going through. Dang, you feel like you're going through all this hell, but it's essentially for your benefit. So when the Lord returns, you meet the measure that He wants you to meet, so you can receive salvation.
And that's that dross.
Yeah.
That's that unwanted. The sticks and sticks and other rocks, and tin. But you got it.
This for you, dog.
Kind
And that it's the spirit, because I was about to pull this Malachi 4th chapter for you. But just backing up the priest and Morgan's point, going into that Malachi the 3rd chapter, it talks about how who shall be able to stand when Yahweh returns. Who shall abide at his coming? Because he's going to be sitting, like it says, he's going to refine his men, man. As Scripture talks about, when the Lord returns, will there be faith upon the earth? And we know that the answer is yes, but it's going to be far and few in between, man. Because the remnant is a very small multitude. But this is Malachi the 4th chapter, and I'm going to read verse 1 through 3, and you can speak on it, dog.
Yeah.
It says, "For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble."
Yep, like I said, the day coming that it shall burn as an oven, man. Right, the nuclear missiles that's gonna come to destroy ultimately Babylon the Great, man. Right, and it said all the wicked part. Can you read that part?
Yep, it says, "And all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble."
Exactly. So all the proud and they that do wickedly shall be as stubble, man. That's gonna be their ultimate judgment, right? Even after going through, not even counting all the stuff that's gonna be going on in Jacob's trouble. Right, all this shit they're gonna have to deal with. Lord having the deepest and darkest fears come to life right before them, and then the finish, the cherry on top is them getting burnt up on their feet like Sarah Connor from Terminator, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like that's really just a cherry on top. But you can continue on.
Yeah, middle of verse chapter Malachi 4:1, it says, "And the day that cometh shall burn them up, and the Lord of hosts that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall."
Exactly. So the Lord gonna come with what? Healing is wings. Like I said earlier, he's gonna come to destroy, but also he's coming to heal. But he's gonna heal who? His elect, man. Right? He's gonna renew their strengths. He's gonna give the elect the new bodies. They're gonna be the first fruits of that. Right? They're gonna get new bodies. Right, but first, like I said, you're gonna be what brothers gonna be endowed with spiritual powers, right? Because ultimately, we're going to be ultimately out of these bodies, because we understand that these bodies ain't nothing but wickedness. Just completely, it just continues to fight against the spirit all the time, man. Right, a constant war. Romans 7 chapter 14 on down. Paul goes into that perfectly, man. It's a constant battle every day, fighting against yourself every day. But the Lord, he's going to come and heal us and take that away, right, when the time comes.
Okay. One more verse.
Yep.
Verse 3, it says, "And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet, in the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord of hosts."
Exactly. Spiritual powers, man. Right? The Lord is going to endow his men with spiritual powers. The finishers are going to become hunters, right? And they're going to be hunting. And these are things that we're looking forward to, man. But right now, we're in the process of getting prepared for stuff like that. Right now, by going through the hill that the Lord puts within your walk, that's required for you in order to even get that spiritual power, man. Because you think the Lord can just hand it to you? You know what? You know my name. I'm gonna give it to you. Nah, man. The Lord gonna make you work for it in some form or fashion. And even then, we still don't deserve it. It just goes into our righteousness is as a filthy rag. So it's like even then we still don't deserve it, but Lord, he still want to see a fight, right? This is one thing that brothers like to say a lot, man. Bro, the Lord loves to see his men fight, right? And if you fighting and you putting in the work to the best of your ability, Lord, like, you know what? I got you, man. I got you. But that's only when the time comes, though, right? So right now we're in that time of being prepared to receive things like that, right? Spiritual power. We got it now, but it's not turned up yet, But that was it on that.
Yeah, that's it.
May I get one real quick?
Yeah.
This is
Then we'll get Hebrews 12.
Sirach 4:28, and you can speak on it if you want. It says, "Strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee."
Exactly. Strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for you, man. Right? You got to be willing to give up your life in this thing, man. Right? Understanding, really, it goes into you understanding what are you even a part of. If you understand what you're a part of, you understand that it can very well cost you your life. Right? And so we got scriptures that back that up, man. There's nothing that can separate us from the love of Yahweh Shem Shah. Death, that was one of them. Death, no man, no nothing. Right? So, and it also says your works follow you. So it's like, dang, so death can't even stop us from being close to Yahweh Shem Shah. So and also, we also go to, that's the greatest act of love. A man that lay his life down for his friend. So that's the biggest act of love that you can do, right? Laying down your life, spiritually as well as physically.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry if I may, bro. It's like the Lord is the greatest example of sacrifice that we have.
Yeah.
Like he showed us what it means to be a true friend, right? And the elect are going to be reciprocating that on some level, whatever their lot, role, position may be. They're going to be reciprocating that. Like Yahweh said, they shall know that you are my disciple by the way you show love to one another.
Yep.
You see, and as the Son of Man, like it says in Matthew the 20th chapter, the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister and to give his life as a ransom for many. So we're just reciprocating. We're leading by the example that was set by the captain of our salvation, Yahweh Shai. You got it, bro.
Okay. That was it on that, right? All right, we go ahead and get that Hebrews 12.
All right, this is Hebrews. You want to can you?
It's KJV.
Okay, this is Hebrews chapter 12. I'm sorry, verse 5.
You guys.
This is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 5. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him.
Yeah, like I said, despise not the chastening of the Lord, because you can easily get bitter with the things that the Lord decide to put through in your life, whatever it may be. Because like I said earlier, man, we don't know what the Lord got planned for us, man. One day we could be cool like this. Next we could be, completely through, completely messed up, right? And the Lord said, you know what? I seen that fit though, right? That's the crazy thing. It's just like, dang, the Lord saw this fit for my walk, or whatever it may be, And it's just, you got to be cool with that and understand that, like, well, whatever it is gonna be for my betterment. Or at least you better be praying is for your betterment, because for some people it literally can be, nah, I want you. You did your part. Don't get on.
You're created to be destroyed.
Yeah. So you don't want that, but that's why it's so important to pray, as Apostle Kyle loves, stress upon us a lot, to pray, man. Pray that not be the case, man. Pray that the Lord do not take the spirit from you, and his will be to you ultimately for good. Ultimately.
Perception is everything, bro. Absolutely. Like you have to look at things with a spiritual eye. If you look at it, like, not to say times we won't be in the flesh. Like, we're in the flesh at the end of the day. Sometimes that the flesh, it has this way of operating that it can take you a minute sometimes to realize you have to look at things, like you have to tap into the spirit, or that you're not in the spirit at that moment in time. You know what I'm saying? But you always got to revert back to that, because that's through the spirit giving you the right perception on, how the things are playing out in your individual walk, so on and so forth. It should bring forth a level of comfort. Like, this is the Lord's will. You know what I'm saying? And you're supposed to, ultimately be content with that, man. Because at the end of the day, we have the treasure already in earthen vessels. See, you got it.
Yeah, I wish I said it's like that.
But
like he said, offenses shall come, but what will they come through? So, like, it's gonna be things that happen in brother lives, but it's up to you if you get offended or not. You see,
like the seed that fell upon the stony ground, the thorny ground. The cares of this life abide by, they're offended, so on and so forth. Like, they endure for a little while, but then that's it. We don't want to be like that, because he that knew the Lord's will and didn't do it shall be beaten on any straight.
Yeah, that's the scripture say that. We've seen a lot more of that happen.
Yeah.
Lord's really turning the light on a lot of that, Brothers who know they is real, in certain camps and whatnot, which is a fearful thing. Ultimately, but this is just a time, Apostle Dahar named this.
Apostates.
Yeah.
You guys on good?
This is Sirach chapter 2, verse 4. It says,
That's good.
whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully. It says, and be patient when thou change to a low estate. I'm on 4:5 as well. It
Matter
says,
of fact, Cowboys will get that later. You can start like at verse 1.
okay,
And read to like 6, I think.
it says, this is Sirach chapter 2, verse 1. It says, my son, if thou come to serve Yahweh Shem Yahushai, prepare thy soul for temptation.
Exactly. So first, you gotta understand what you signed up for.
Come.
You're supposed to understand that you should know that you're gonna be tempted by Satan, right? For ultimately following Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right? The scripture goes to, man, he that departed from wickedness, making himself a prey. So you gotta first we got to understand that, okay, what am I in right now? All right. Okay. Now I'm on a hit list for Satan now. Right now, Luke 22:31 pertains to you now. Simon, behold, Satan is out of heaven, have you that he may shift his week. Right. So it's like you got to understand them things first. So when you do go through stuff, right? When hell do come upon you, it's not just that's a strange thing that's happened onto you, man. Because you know what you signed up for. Right, and if you're not aware of what you're signing up for, then guess what? You're gonna be like, man, I didn't sign up for this. Yeah. Man, this is too much. I didn't think it's gonna be like this, right? Which is a completely terrible spirit to be in. But that's why you gotta be, you gotta really, count the cost. You gotta count the cost, man. Because if you're not counting the cost, then it's gonna be a loss for you. Yep. But you go ahead.
Verse 2, it says, set thy heart upright and constantly endure.
Exactly. So get your mind right, and it said constantly endure. So this is gonna be a fight all the way pretty much up to the chariots, man.
Everyday thing.
Yeah, everyday thing. Set thy heart right, get your mind right, and constantly endure. So it's gonna be don't get me wrong, Lord, he do give you breathing room. He'll throw you a bone here and there. He might turn the heat down for that day. Yeah. Just a little bit.
So you can recuperate.
Right, so you can recuperate, get your mind right.
Yeah.
Exactly, but majority of the time, man, you going through hell. Majority of the time, you're not gonna be like all the way there in the spirit. Majority of the time, right? That's just how it is in this walk. So it's a constant battle every day, right? And just praying and hoping and just fighting just to do what's right. But these are things that the Lord has warned us about. So like, okay, you want to fight a lot, man. Just let you know. You're gonna be tempted by Satan. It's gonna be a lot, and then on top of it, it's going to get worse. You're going to do some things that you didn't think you would ever do in your life, right? You were like, damn, shit, this thing's going to happen to you that you didn't think that would ever happen to you in your life. What you going to do? You're gonna be like, damn, it's just too much, or you just going to keep going and praying and hoping that the Lord, he's going to restore you one day. Because he's going to do it, but you just got to endure through it, though.
Right.
But you got it right.
Yeah, that makes me think this
you got this point.
Called Brothers with
I saw that.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he was in the military, and his friends, grew up with his homeboy. They both in the military. They both had kids at the same time. His best friend had a daughter, but the whole point of what you're going into is it was POWs, and they saw his family from his wallet. And he was like, "No, man, don't do that." So the Heavenly Father was testing his integrity. He was like, well, if you don't want me to kill your family, he gave him a crowbar and told him to beat the shit out of his friend. So it was kind of like, just pretty much when it comes to the scriptures, we got to be ready and mentally ready to, to serve Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah in this purity, man, and not just when times get hard, it's like you was gonna do that anyway, and that's part of having your mind sold out for this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding this truth, man, because those are the type of decisions that we make constantly on a daily basis when it's time to do righteous, and I just use that in an example because the guy looking out for his family. But at the same time, he was willing to, just beat the shit out of his brother, man. Yeah. And it's like, damn, but that was spiritual to me when I saw that. I was like, man, as we get closer to the end, as things heat up, are we gonna, and I ain't talking about beating somebody, but making spiritual choices like that.
Yeah, man.
That's the point, like, dang, are we gonna really use wisdom? We know it. We know what we should do, but are we going to do it? And it's just like, the Heavenly Father put us and test us, to test our integrity, man.
Yeah. And these are things, and that's what it's ultimately doing now. Just going back to the title, like the Lord is preparing us to let this place go, right? By the things that you go through. Yeah, by the things that you go through on an everyday basis, man. Right? Every test, everything that the Lord puts you through, man, is like, okay, you're going to apply wisdom in this situation? Okay, if you don't, then guess what? You just want to take the test again and again. You got to remember, we got the greatest coach ever. In any, ever. If there's a better word for me to say that. right? Greatest coach ever. He know you better than you. And guess what? With the good ass coaches, guess what? They're gonna get on your nerves. It's gonna hurt with the things they tell you. You gotta do this.
And push you.
Yeah, they'll push you, but you know, with Yahweh Shai, he knows how far to push you. And when to, you know, okay, you know what, you can chill out today. Just today. Or just this week. It might be, you might get blessed and be a week. You never know. But when stuff like that does happen, yeah, you enjoy it, but just keeping in mind that it's gonna come back. You gotta get back in that fire because we still got work to be done. Right? You still gotta get built up. There's still things that Lord Yahweh Shai wants to get out of you. So when that time comes, when you are left with the tough decisions that Ariel made mention of, you're gonna be able to do it with flying colors. Hell, second Ezra 16 at what, 75, 76?
I was just
Come on, bro. Yeah, let's break it down. Yeah, second Ezra 16, what, 75, 76? Right? He's a God of those a guide of those that keep his commandments. Right? So the Lord, it's not like he ain't gonna be with us in that time to make the right decisions, because for one, we've been getting built up the whole time right now. Because it all starts now. While everybody else is, you know, doing whatever the hell they want. Man, the Lord's getting us ready for what we finna get ready to go through. But
you want to finish this out?
yes. Go away, my bad. Yeah, you had something.
Just to back up what you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
This is 1 Corinthians 10 and 13.
That's good.
Just gonna grab that NIV, and it says, "No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind.
Mm.
And Yahweh Hashem Shai is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way also that you can endure it." Just speak on what the brother was saying. What's that way to really endure it? Wisdom, knowledge, understanding. That's, you know, when we go through certain stuff, you know, we know not to take vengeance on ourselves. We know to take the low. All that is wisdom. You know, focusing on the joy that is set before us, like how I did. All those things will pull back that flesh, you know, and allow us, you know, move forward.
You know, and that's the wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times and the strength of salvation.
Yep.
And that's the strength.
Yep. Because by the time to be in this situation.
Yep.
You know, just your day-to-day situation, that wisdom kick in like, all right, let me not crash out.
We calm down.
Yeah.
I got something to go on me.
Okay, go ahead. Then we go back to Sirach after that.
This is Sirach. Shout out to the brother for Naya. Sirach 22:16 in GNT.
Now, man.
It says a wooden beam can be put into a building so firmly that an earthquake cannot shake it loose. A person can be trained to use reason and good sense so well that he keeps his head when a crisis comes. You see, so that's ultimately right now. Like I remember years ago at camp when we was on, at Pegasus Plaza, before we shook the dust off our boots, so to speak. Elder Mike Ollie, he was teaching, and he had made a point. He was like, right now we're at boot camp, man. Like, we're about to actually be put up. Like when shit really gets real out here, we're gonna actually have to be in the field. But right now we're in those training grounds to where there's mistakes can be made, right? But ultimately the point of boot camp is to make it to the point where you're ready for the field. You see, so right now the Lord is training us to where we're being given opportunity to make the right decisions, and we're gonna fuck up, like you said. We're gonna mess up in the midst of that, right? But the point is, like I said, is offend less, right? Fuck up less, get better over time. That's the whole point.
Growth.
Exactly. Growth. Yeah. Right. Exactly. So that way, when the crisis actually comes, we'll have our head on straight, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times and the strength, the backbone of us ultimately succeeding in that time, man. What you got to do.
And that's going to be automatic.
Yeah.
We're not going to think about it. It's going to be first nature.
Right now we're in the time of because the flesh is like a second nature thing, but we're in a time of fighting to put that off, to where once we get in that time, like you said, Rashad, the spirit gonna be for second nature. What you got it, bro?
You want to make a point or whatever?
Yeah, I was gonna say that shows forth toward our faith. Since that's what it does. It shows our faith, because the scriptures always say how like where the word of a king is there's power. So the Lord has all these things laid out, and we gotta believe him. You see, the Lord said, "Hey, I'm gonna tempt you, but I'm gonna have you." But it's one thing to read it. Hey, I'm gonna tempt you, and gonna have you. But it's one thing, okay, you're gonna be tempted. You still gonna believe that I'm gonna have you? Because the stuff that the Lord gonna put us through, man, it's gonna be something that we not used to, man.
Yeah.
Especially we in Babylon, we used to a lot of comfortabilities. We used to a lot of things, you know. Sometimes we have an excess of things we don't even know at times. So the Lord will put in a position where, okay, now those scriptures that you've been reading, you said the boot camp, now it's time to apply it. You see? Because in the boot camp, he was applying, he was putting them in there, but now we at the time where we can't be doing it. You see?
We go back to that, Sirach.
It's a Sirach chapter 2, verse 2. I'm going to start at the top again. It says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble.
What verse is that?
Sirach chapter 2 and 2. Okay. Verse 3, it says, cleave unto him and depart not away. It says, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end.
Yep, and that's what we've been trained to do, man, to cleave onto him when stuff do get hard now, right? So when the time comes, as y'all was making mention, that it pretty much be second nature, or, you know, if Brother Yuan like to say, it'll be first nature to call upon you, how about Shem Shai, when stuff go left, like pretty much right away. Because, you know, Jake got that thing there, dude, you might, let me call the cops. You be like, nah, Lord don't want you to do that. He wants you to pray first. Pray first, right? And he does it by putting you in situations now, let alone tough situations for you, so you can pray until the end. Sometimes it get to the point, if you don't get it, then Lord, he's going to get you to the point to where, like, you can't do nothing but pray to him.
Yeah.
Right? But call upon him. You know, you don't try to do everything else, man. You know, like, you know, try to do that. You know, try to, try this, nope. You gonna call on me yet? Right? And like the brother said, man, because we in boot camp, so we got the time to make that mistakes now.
Yeah.
So when that time comes, we'll be ready. Right?
If I may say.
Yeah.
Right now in Gary, Indiana, they're at that level now. The brothers there are doing great, but everybody else that is not, you know, in tune with how Hashem Yahushua is going through it. All right, and that right there is a faith booster, because that is about to be upon all the whole shores of America.
Yeah.
All right, just to say, but I'll go to 4.
Okay.
It says, "Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low state."
Exactly. So whatever brought upon you, man, take it cheerfully. You know, we ain't saying that you got to sit there and smile through it. You sitting there cheesing your way, getting fucked up, cheesing your way to like running late on a bill or something. You know, he's not saying that, but you know, just take it on the chin and keep going, man. Pray to y'all about Shem Shai and understand that like he's finna work. As long as you believe though, right? Because that's the beautiful things about the Gospels. You know, in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You know, I'm thinking specifically of the woman that had that issue of blood. What did Yahushua say to him? It was according to your faith that you got healed, man. Her belief in him, her belief in him being able to heal her was what happened, right? Not her just because you touched, because a lot of people touched him. That don't mean something happened to him, right? But her belief in, if I touch her, then he can heal me. That's what sealed it off right there, man. That faith, and that's what the Lord is training up in us pretty much on the daily, man. Our faith. That's why, you know, as things are getting harder now, because it's going to require you to have more faith to get through it. Right? Brothers are getting built up on, you know, on a level to be able to go through things because their faith is ultimately ready for it. Like, all right, now I'm built you to this.
Yeah.
Now I got to put this demon on you, and you're going to be able to conquer it as long as you believe, though.
Yeah.
Now, once you start doubting, that's when it's just, okay, yeah, you're losing, right? But if you continue to believe and fight that doubt demon, then you'll be good, man.
You know, if I may add, you know, when brothers ask for, pray for increase, you know, increase in the spirit and all that, know when the Lord's dealing with you. You know, you may ask to increase it, then, you know, when the Lord will slide something to you, you know, looking to see how you're going to deal with it, you can defend it and not knowing this is what you asked for. The opportunity is right there. But it's like, that's what you got to know when the Lord's dealing with you. You ask for increase, you want to be like, bet that up. I want to speak, you know, but he put you in a situation and you got to recognize that situation. Okay, this is my time to increase.
Yeah.
A lot of times, you know, like that's what I'm going to say. Don't keep getting hit with the same punch.
You got to learn how to slip. There you go. I got something.
Okay. And then you got your point.
They go back to that. It ties in. That's right. James 1:2-6. It says, "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, but the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. You see, that's a completeness that comes with being fully immersed in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai. See, it says, verse 5, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of the Most High that gives to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed. Right, so you have to ask for those things, of course, but you got to ask in faith. You got to believe that Yahweh Shem Shai is going to put you in situations for you to, ultimately execute. You see, what you got to do.
Can you read that the James AM and the AMP? At least the 2 through 4 part.
I got you, bro. Let me James chapter 1. You said 2 through 3.
2 through 4.
Oh, 2 through 4. And the AMP. All right. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. James 1 and 2 in the AMP, it says, consider it nothing but joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you fall into various trials.
Consider it nothing but joy when you follow. When you fall into various trials, man, right? Because you understand. Well, actually, it's going to explain. I'm going to explain. Go ahead.
Yeah. Verse 3: be assured that the testing of your faith through experience produces endurance, leading to spiritual maturity and inner peace.
Exactly. So it's working for your betterment, right? Every hell that each brother goes through is working for your betterment, right? It's increasing you in areas that you didn't know you needed an increase in, right? Or it's building you up in some form or fashion, and you may not always know it, but you got to understand. You understand the bigger picture. If the Lord's dealing with you, then He's gonna put you through things, and if He putting you through things, this means you're getting built up better, right? Getting that dross out of you, man, which is undesirable metals that are, undesirable, metals that's inside of pretty much gold. Yeah.
And let endurance have its perfect result, and do a thorough work, so that you may be perfect and completely developed in your faith, lacking in nothing.
Yeah. So you have pretty much perfect faith, man. Ultimately, you being built up to the point to where exactly where Yahweh Shem Shai wants you to be. And it says, I said, thorough, right? So it's gonna really get in there. Whatever you going through, Lord, like really getting in there, like what I want to get that pride off you, boy, right? Or however it is, the Lord, trying to increase you in certain areas, whatever it may be, right? It's gonna be thorough. But that's a shit.
That was verse 4.
Can I get some? I know you saw that precept.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Real quick, you got it, bro. It's Psalms 119, verse 71, NLT. It says, my suffering was good for me, for it taught me to pay attention to your degrees.
Yep, my suffering was good for me, so for it taught me to pay attention to your degrees, man. It made me also think about Ecclesiastes 7, right? For by sorrow the countenance is made better, roughly paraphrasing that, right? So you learn more when you're going through stuff. You ain't gonna be learning nothing when you're sitting there all jolly, having a good time all the time. Nah, this is when the Lord sits you down your ass, and then you start thinking. You're like, damn, hold on, all right. Shit, what did I? Damn, I probably could have did this, or I could have did that. But if you was always in the house of mirth, then you would never learn anything. You will never get built up, man, because everything will be going good for you. You ain't got nothing to worry about. But since we're not in that, and the Lord is putting us through things, guess what? We're set down to examine ourselves more. What can we better in? What do we even need to be asking for? Damn, do I need to go on a fast? Things of that nature, right? And these are things that's going to just amp up more and more as time goes on, right? Because the Lord, He's going to continue to build us up more and more and more, ultimate to the perfect day. What Proverbs 4? How the just shall shine more and more to the perfect day, right? So we're going to be being built up more and more and more until we good ultimately being delivered from this place. But was that it on that?
I'll read this real quick. In the context, the context is Peter and the apostles being imprisoned by the high priest, chief priest of the temple. But this is Acts 5:40. It says, and to him they agreed. And when they had called the apostles and beaten them, they commanded that they should not speak in the name of Yahushua and let them go. And when they departed from the presence of the council, and they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer the shame for his name. And that's the point. like you had made that point earlier. You know, we're trying to get into that spirit to the point to where even if we get grabbed up, even if we get our ass beat, we feeling good. We swagged up through the spirit, you know, because then that proves that we're worthy to suffer under the name of Yahushua. Because we had made that point earlier about falling 7 times, right? Peter denying the Lord. So when Peter denied the Lord, you best believe he was waiting for the opportunity to prove himself. You know? So this was this amongst others. You know what I'm saying? This was just an example of an opportunity to earn those stripes. You know, you got that.
Yeah, you got something, your boy?
Yeah, you can work it down.
And after this, we're gonna go back to Sirach and try to get through that, and go back to Hebrews 12.
Kind of, we got it when I read it. I'm gonna read Job chapter 17 and verse 7. I'm gonna read all the way through 9 in the AMP. My eye has grown dim, unexpressive because of grief, and all my body's members are wasted away like a shadow. The upright will be astonished and appalled at this, and the innocent will stir himself up against the godless and polluted. Nevertheless, the righteous will hold to his ways, and he who has clean hands will grow stronger and stronger.
Exactly. So the trials and tribulations that we go through, it's meant to build us up to make us stronger and stronger. But for other people, well, the 2/3, they're just going to wax worse and worse, right? They're not going to get better, right? The Lord will put them through things, and they get worse. Like we quoted earlier, you know, just man falls 7 times. But the end of that verse goes into, it also says, but the wicked shall fall into mischief, going into the wicked. They're just going to wax worse, right? So with them, as they go through stuff, man, they just get depressed, stay in that low spirit, and that's it. And if they do try to come back, they're going to try to come back on some wicked shit. You know, I'm going to show my ass hard. I'm really finna flex on niggas.
I'm gonna start skinning.
Right, first, like pretty much.
It's like I'm just gonna start throwing pussy at every dude.
Right, thinking that's
I get niggas.
right, thinking that's gonna do anything better when it's really destroying them even faster.
Yep.
But for the elect, man, they gonna be brought low. But guess what? They're gonna be built up stronger and stronger each time. That's why the trials and tribulations that everybody, you know, all you brothers go through, they get harder because you're going glory to glory, which is a very good sign because that means you're growing, right? Because if you still dealing with the, you know, same things on the same level, right? Because you can deal with same demons, but they be stronger. Don't get me wrong. But if you just still on that base level, you're not really stagnant or being stagnant, you know, then that's a very bad sign. But if you're dealing with more demons, that's a good sign because you're getting stronger. And the Lord said, "Nah, I got to turn it up on you so I can build you up." You know, because if he didn't have to turn it up on you, then this means you're not getting stronger.
Hey,
right?
I mean, somebody, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm just gonna make a point real quick because, like the scripture says, they that sow into the flesh shall reap of the flesh corruption. But they that sow into the spirit shall reap the spirit life everlasting. And that's the difference between us and the rest of our people, because we have that outlet that's not a carnality and it's not a corruption. Right, it's not, and you know the scripture talks about though the outward man perisheth, the inward man is renewed day by day. So the Lord is building us up through those afflictions, whereas the rest of our people they're going through afflictions, but they don't have a hope. They don't have a spiritual outlet that's tied to actual truth and life everlasting. You see, we do.
That's why they back you up. Our people try to find other avenues to seek refuge.
Comfort, vices,
Yeah,
escapism. It's escapism.
We need to get our home banking system. We need to do this. You know, they're trying to find comfort, like you're saying, outside of the scripture.
Okay, we'll go back to Sirach.
All right, this is Sirach 5 and 6. It says, "For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of affliction or adversity."
2 and 6 or 5 and 6?
It should be 2 and 6, right? Sirach 2 and 6.
Yeah.
Well, it's
2 and
Sirach
5.
too. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't say Sirach.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Salak.
This is Sirach 2 and 5. It says, "For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity." All right.
Exactly. We're, Lord willing, we're hoping to be that gold, man, being tried in that fire, which is the trials and tribulations that is used to purify us, man, right? Because we all should know here at least, when the fire be put on the gold, that's when gold is at its purest form, right? And when that fire is them trials and tribulations, putting us down to that purest form, Lord getting that dross out of it, man. And He's gonna keep doing it until How the blackness do it? So they see a reflection of themselves off of it.
Right.
Letting them know that okay, it's good now.
That's the silversmith.
Oh yeah, silversmith.
Yeah, a silversmith purges out all the impurities until he can see his own reflection in it. You know, and that's what Yahweh Shemel Shai is doing to us. Can I pull a precept going into that surah?
Yeah.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 9. It says, "They that put their trust in him shall understand the truth, and such as be faithful in love shall abide with him." It's like my eyes just went. It says, "For grace and mercy is to his saints, and he hath care for his elect." All right, because as we're going through it, you know, as we are growing day by day in this thing of ours that Yahweh Shemel Shai has blessed us with. All right, he's making us into that goal.
Yep.
All right, he's purging out all the impurities. All right, but you know, we got a little bit more to go because these chains of darkness must leave. But well, I'll go back to that Sirach.
Yeah. Oh, you wait, verse
6.
6. Okay.
This is Sirach chapter 5, verse 6. It says, "Believe in him, and he will help thee." It says, "Order thy way of right." It says, and trust in him. All right.
Exactly. So believe in him, and he will help thee. Right? Believe and trust in Yahweh Shemel Shai. He's gonna make a way for you. Right? It might not always be a way to get out of the situation, but he might just give you the spirit to be able to go through with the situation and still be able to serve him.
Yep.
Right? Because that's another way of the Lord delivering you too, giving you the strength to endure that thing, whatever it may be. Right? Because you don't want to always pray for like, Lord, just I'm trying to get me out of this situation. Now certain things, okay, it's understandable, but a lot of things is more like, man, Lord, you gotta ask Lord to allow you to be able to endure it. Because if you, like I said, if you see the bigger picture, you should know, well, whatever this is right here is meant to build me up. If I tell the Lord to take it away from me, then I'm losing. I'm missing out on gains.
Yep.
Pretty much.
And if I may, the thing about that process, the smelting process, the purification process, like a metal going through that process, that can be undone. Like the gold may get dirty, right? Some dust may get on it, right? It may sit for a while and not look as as pretty, but it's not going back to the ore.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not going back into the you know what I mean? The rock in which it was hewn.
Yeah.
So the things that the Lord has taken us through, those significant things, those are permanent changes. You know, and call Allah Yahweh Shemel Shai for that. You got it.
Well, that's it on that Sirach.
I got a very quick one. I know you want to get to that.
Yeah, well, you get that, and then we're gonna go to the Hebrews.
This is Proverbs 25:4 in the NLT. It says, "Remove the impurities from silver, and the sterling will be ready for the silversmith." That's what the Lord is doing with us.
Yeah.
Just to add them to the point.
God, that's beautiful said, bro. We go ahead and get that Hebrews.
Proverbs
Well, you can. We can leave off
Do
at
you remember read verse 5 again, or just start at 6?
Let's start this shit.
This is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 6. "From whom the Lord Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai loveth, he chasteneth and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth."
Exactly. So for whoever the Lord loves, man, he's going to chasten. In other words, he's going to discipline. He's going to correct them. He's going to build them up. That's for whoever he loves, though.
Yeah.
Right. So if the Lord don't love you, then guess what? You're gonna be just chilling for the most part.
Yeah.
You might go through things here and there, but nothing really too bad for real. Right. But if the Lord does love you, man, he's gonna put you through the ringer.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, man, you can just look through the scripture, man. Prophets, man, they look pretty much all of them live very hard lives for the most part, man. Hard lives, man. And guess what? The Lord's with them in every bit of it. Same thing for us, man. The Lord's gonna be with us in everything that we go through. As long as we can continue to serve and ultimately believe in him and trust in him, right? Of having faith in him ultimately. Because if you don't do that, then you're just going to be shooting your own self in the foot anyways, right? You're screwing your own self. Oh, you're subjecting yourself to damnation ultimately. But you want to say something?
Well, now I was going to say that scourging process is more than just physical. It's physical, emotional, spiritual, mental. The Most High is going to take you through the whole process.
Yeah.
But just to say that you got it.
That's what I said. You got it.
I'm about to say also the Lord might just put a tough lot on you.
Yep.
Put a whole bunch of stuff that you got to do.
Ooh.
And it's like that'd be part of the hell. like trying to keep yourself in order while you got all this stuff that you got to do. Because some men, like you look at Jonah, for example, he knew what the prophet had to go through. He was like, fuck, I want to do this. But the Lord said, you got to do it. So sometimes it could be just your life. The stuff the Lord got to have you got to do, the responsibilities you have.
Yeah, the scriptures throw around that word burden, the burden of the prophet. You know what I mean? I forgot what the Hebrew word is, but that's something you got to deal with, something you got to carry.
It's a weight.
You know?
My yoke is heavy, my burden is light. Comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
We go back to the Hebrews.
This is verse 7. It says, if ye endure chastening, the Most High Yahweh Bahashim Rashad, the power dealeth with you as with sons.
Exactly. If you endure, right? Because not everybody endures that. You know, you might endure for a time, might endure for a little bit, but if you fall out, then you done, man. Right? You're gonna fulfill Ezekiel 18:24, right? The pretty much your deeds are gonna be forgotten. Everything that you did is gonna be forgotten. So if you don't endure, then not only that, you know, Lord obviously don't care about you now. Well, He's not dealing with you as a son now. Now He done forgot about you. You're like, oh shit, well, you too weak. I need somebody stronger than you. I don't want you. But it was already predestined to begin with, and we just hope that we're predestined to continue to endure through these things and just keep going until, you know, the very end, as it says in Matthew 24. He that endured to the end, the same shall be saved. Because that's the goal, is to endure into the end, right? No matter what gets in our way, just keep going. But you got it.
Can I read that one part in the NLT real quick? This is that just the upper part of the verse 7 in the NLT. It's Hebrews 12. It says, as you endure this divine discipline, remember that the Most High Yahweh Bahashim is treating you as His own children.
As you deal with divine discipline, this is on a whole nother level. the discipline of the gods, pretty much. But you know, the same thing that we're like, see, we're partaking in Yahweh Shai suffering. So Yahweh Shai had to deal with this. We got to deal with it on a degree too. Now we ain't dealing with it on the level of Yahweh Shai, but we getting our fair share of it, whatever the Lord saw fit, right? And this is gonna be tough for every individual brother, right? It's gonna be tough. So it's something that majority of people can't even relate to, right? They don't have no idea the mental battles that Jay got to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Even just being around you people and have to act normal around you people. You know? And that right there, that's just a big ass fight in itself. They ready we ready to get carnal quick as hell, but we understand we gotta move in wisdom. According to Colossians 4:6, moving in wisdom to those are without. You understand? These niggas ain't got the wisdom, but we do. So we're gonna be held on a higher standard from when we do mess up, because we know better, right? It made me think about I think it was like a little riddle or quote. I forgot what it was called. Basically, it was like a little kid thing. It was like an animal. Basically, the judge was pretty much a lion, and you had a tiger and a donkey. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Oh, it was a tiger and a donkey. Basically, had like a little quarrel about, you know, the sky. They said the donkey said the sky was green. The tiger said no, the sky is blue. And they came to a lion about it, and the lion pretty much said to the donkey, "You're right, the sky is green." And then the donkey, you know, rubbing his feet, I told you. The tiger was like, "Dang, why did you lie about the sky being green?" He said, "Because you know better, and you still like chose to basically pick a fight with that." So with us, we're supposed to be moving in that sense. That's just, you know, an example, right? You don't want to scoop down to their level ultimately. Right. We got the wisdom not to scoop down to their level, so we got to operate in that because Lord gave us that to use it. So that's why when you be dealing with shit at work or even just, you know, out and about, even with your own woman, right? You don't want to scoop down to their level, man. It's a trap. Lord's gonna mess you up for doing that. They're not gonna mess them up because they're gonna mess you up because you know better. Yeah. But yeah, we can go ahead and continue on that Hebrews.
Might I make a real quick point? Yeah. You know, because it has said a divine discipline. Imagine, because you gotta think about it. What do you have to say? He said, "These are they who continue in my suffering with me." The Son of Man. You see, you gotta think about that. That's a divine discipline that we're undergoing. We're undergoing the sufferings that Yahweh underwent. So we're walking the same footsteps, and to be able to be told that you endure what I went through. You see, this is the only person that Yahweh spoke into existence. Other than that, he had Yahweh shot do the rest. You see, that's an honor, you know, because, you know, in the spirit, you know, you hear the Elder Roma say, and brother said all the time, like, you know, we in this thing, and we'll love to be at the table of Yahweh shot. Well, this is a part of being at that table. You see it during the suffering.
Man, imagine being in the kingdom and and it being known that you died for Yahweh Shai.
Exactly.
That's heavy
Great honor right
statement. Yeah, like we gave up our life for him. Like how he did us. Imagine that, brother.
Greatest act of love, man. But we're gonna read down to 11, and we're gonna read down to 11. That probably it.
This is Hebrews 12 and verse 7. You want me to start from the top?
You can start from the top.
Okay, I'm going to start from the top of verse 7 in the KJV, where we're in the KJV. It says, if you endure chastening, and the Most High Yahweh Shai dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chastens not?
Can't keep going.
But if ye be without chastisement, wherefore all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons.
Yep. So if you be without chastisement, right, then you pretty much looked at a bastard in the Lord's eyes, man. Right? It's kind of like with parents and their kids, man. Parents, they're gonna be harder on their kids than they are gonna be on anybody else's kids. Right? They, if anything, they might say something to the kids, but other kids. But as far as your own, you're gonna get on to your own and make now you gonna do this. You're gonna get right. That's how the Lord treats us. You're like, nah, I'm gonna get you right. And it's all out of the act of love, ultimately. Right? And understanding that is gonna help you continue to, persevere through these trials and tribulations that you gotta go through, man. Understanding that it's working for your betterment in hopes that you may get salvation. But we'll get to you on.
Verse 9, it says, furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrupted us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live?
Exactly. So just giving you an example of it's the same thing with our parents, and we show them reverence, which is, high level of respect. How much more Yahweh Shem Shai, and he's doing that for us, ultimately. Right? Should we be showing him the utmost respect? Really just thanking him that we even worthy to suffer the things that we got to go through, because majority of people, Lord, like, yeah, you're not worthy. Right? I don't want you to partake in Yahweh Shai suffering, but this brother, yeah, I want you to go through it, because I know you're gonna be able to go. You're gonna be able to handle it. All right.
Verse 10, it says, for they verily for a few days chasten you, like it chastened us after their own pleasure, but he for our profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness.
Exactly. So it's not like he's Yahweh Shem Shai is getting anything from really doing this, right? It's for us. He's doing it for us, for our profit, like I said, that we might be partakers of his holiness, that we might get salvation, that we might, be able to endure through all that and get salvation ultimately. We go ahead and get the last.
This is verse 11. Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which exercise thereby.
Exactly. So no chastity, right? No discipline or divine discipline of Yahweh Shem Shai for the present seemeth to be joyous. So you're not going to be happy going through it when you're in the thick of it, right? But grievous, right? Is when you're going to be pissed off, you're going to be mad, irritated, right? You're going to be dealing with all of that. But, afterwards, man, meaning after when it's done, it yields this peaceful fruit, man, this growth that comes from it, man, right? The growth, you done gotten better at this, you done got more patient, right? You done grown in more faith. Whatever Yahweh Shem Shai was working on you in that moment of the chastisement that he was putting on you, man, whatever it may be, right? And Lord, he's doing that for every individual brother. Some brothers is seen amongst others brothers, and some is just more just between you and the Lord. However the Lord got it set up, you got to endure it. And if you don't, then there's this tough luck on you. I mean, we pray and hope that brothers, when the battles that they go through that they don't talk about, that brothers don't know about, right? But it's not up to us at the end of the day. We got to hope that we can do what we go through ourselves. But that's all I really had. If brothers got any, extra points, y'all can make them.
I got one last precept here. This is, and we have, it's brought out beautifully. We have beautiful examples of our forefathers and, how they held under certain situations. We look at Moses. No, the hell that Moses went through dealing with Israel, man.
Right.
In the wilderness and, all the things he had to go through. I mean, his life was heavy. Now, we know through the Spirit, he was literally, I say specifically, the first king of Israel. If you want to get technical, I should say. But overall, it's the favor that the Lord, bestowed upon him because of the way he carried himself. This is Numbers 12:3. Now the man Moses was very meek above all men which were upon the face of the earth. I brought that out because what I wanted to do here, just to I wanted to just add on to that word meekness here because I thought it was heavy. And it says, to get the definition, meekness towards Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is that disposition of spirit in which we accept his dealings with us as good. Yep. And you can speak on this, brother. And therefore without disputing or resisting, in the Old Testament, meek are those wholly relying on Yahweh Bashem Yahushua rather than their own strength to defend against injustice. It says, meekness towards evil people means knowing Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is permitting the injuries they inflict, that he is using them to purify his elect, and that he will deliver his elect in his time.
Exactly, being meek, being lowly, is understanding ultimately the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And like I said in the beginning, understanding that the dealings with us is good, right? Like I quoted that Romans 8:28, right? All things work good, meaning the bad that you go through, Lord put Satan on your co-worker to come mess with you, see how you react, see if you're going to take the low, see if you're going to try to, get revenge on your own, right? And understanding, man, all we got to do is just trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, but it's just when you are in the thick of it, it's a lot harder because now you got to battle the flesh in that. You got to battle all these emotions, right? And it'd be worse when it's like, you really do some shit low high key, but it's just like, nah, it's best that you shouldn't. Right? And the Lord, he be testing you on that, man, making sure you're like, hey, nah, be lowly, take the low. Because it's something that you have to do 99% of the time. Absolutely. Unless somebody put their hands on you type stuff, where you got to self-defend you got to turn the other cheek. Just walk off, right? But that's all I had, unless you wanted to add something on that. But
just overall, taking a low, or taking a loss temporarily, as far better than, it's a greater act of power than allowing someone to take you out of your spiritual composure.
Right.
And then really when taking the low, someone's doing you wrong, when you approach it that way, it actually magnifies their wickedness even more.
Yeah.
You ever see somebody get, dealt with and they just kind of just meet like, you kind of like, damn, man, what made what he did look even that much more worse. Yeah. It really exposes it even more so. And when Howard Shawnee's giving us a great example. That's
prime example.
Okay, you got it.
I was about to say too, we're gonna have to go through that and it's straight Joseph. They rely on us. Like Joseph. They relied on Yahweh Shai. They just lying saying, oh, he's trying to do that. They're gonna do that to us and be completely wrong. Absolutely. We're gonna have to take the low. Because right now the lows that we're taking is kind of like, okay, whatever. It's some petty bullshit. But like when you actually did nothing wrong and they could try to kill you and do all that stuff, that's what's really gonna show that meekness. That's what that's the Lord's built us up for.
Look, that's where that joy come in, because we brought that out earlier. People fell out. We was like, nah, I don't know this. But I'm just saying, we're gonna be in situations where it's where we put the test without integrity. To the spirit. It seemed like, man, nah, I would never do that.
Yeah.
But those times are coming.
So you got a damn case on you. You in court. You got the suit on, and they put on a video of camp with an AI generated camp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a camp, but it gets to the part where you speaking, it's just AI generated, you saying some crazy shit. Or it might be, I said this before, or it might be what you actually said.
Yeah. Right. Cut in a certain way.
You know what I mean? You gotta eat it.
If I may add just real quick, just on the last, I know certainly you brothers and I saw the video I put in the chat about the brothers who died on highways and hedges, and the dude, he basically, he went off, dealing with an Edomite man, and he got in the flesh. Jake pulled off his garment, cut off the camera, and made dudes start leaking. It's like these things that are, so that's the spirit that we even going into this lesson. When I saw it earlier this morning, I put it in the chat, I was just kind of like, I watched it, I'm like, brother, he said some real foul stuff about, I'm not going to say it, y'all just watch it because it pissed me off when I even heard it. But it was just like, again, these are constant reminders of how we are supposed to act and behave within this walk, man. The Lord has shown us what to do, how to do things, and how not to do things, man. So yeah, if y'all get a chance, check that video out, man. It's an example like that.
Yeah. That affects the body. That affects all of us.
Something Elder Ariella told me when I first crossed over was you represent something bigger than yourself. Yeah. So we're not just individuals, we're part of the body. I said, and with the devil, he's gonna do what he's gonna do anyways, but we're doing it like Scripture says.
give no offense to the ministry be not blamed. I said,
Exactly.
man, even his response video, I'm like, the LDS one was said, man, you need to take that down. But yeah, that's
Yeah. But, you know, Lord willing, you know, the point was made, man, just understanding that Yahweh Shai is preparing us to pretty much let this place go. You know, it's getting tough, but the Lord clearly gave us a spirit to be able to go through with. But, you know, yeah, Lord willing, y'all was edified. I want to end it off by saying, call halal.
Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Rakakwadash.
Double honors to the apostle and the elder Grand Millstone. Till next time, shalom.
Shalom.